Hello everyone, how's it going? Can you hear me all right? How's the audio today? Awesome. I noticed after the fact last time that in our scramble to play the preview video, I had turned off the game noise, so can you hear the game noise too this time? Cool. At least the music of it, volume too low. I'll try to speak up as well. How's everyone doing this week? It's been a pretty fun weekend so far, getting into this event, A Waltz with Fate. I've done a fair amount of gameplay. I wouldn't say grinding. I haven't really gone out of my way. So this is where we're at right now. And I figured today we can mostly just hang out and play the game. I don't have much analysis. There's not much news to talk about. So actually going to just stream some gameplay and hopefully get to do some co-op with everyone here. Challenging, fun, and thrilling events night? Is that what you hope for, or is that what you feel about A Waltz with Fate? Finished your grinding on your 5th 5-star elemental statistic. That's pretty high. I am working on, I guess, my 4th, but I did dismantle one, so this is going to be my 3rd unique one, I think. Well, I have an EX room ready, but I figured what we could do for some of the games this time, since I know people wanted to get in the past who weren't able to, is maybe if you're interested in being in a game in particular, you can post a code and I will join your room for some of these. That way we're able to get a greater variety of people, and it's not necessarily who's fastest on the trigger. But do any of you guys have an EX ready so we could go ahead and take on this EX right away? I have 2 teams I've been working with for the most part. So this is my EX team, multi-element. Light's kind of my strongest, light's kind of my weakest element. And I feel like with this raid, it isn't so hard that you can't not get away with a multi-element team. Failed to connect to the server. We'll try again. And then this is kind of my general use team. I actually haven't been using Felicia since I got her bond or friendship to its maximum. I've been using Hildegarde, but she is a pretty good healer. We can talk about her a little bit later. This team has also been pretty serviceable. Yuden is just here for player EXP.
The Azam are a hunting tribe, but we are all...
Let's see what happens. I'll make an EX private room. And then if some of you guys are ready, you can hop in. And if not, maybe we can pub for the last few spots. Otherwise, I can just do an expert as well.
There's more to this costume than meets the eye.
I guess I'll switch to my EX squad. So, what do you guys think of the story on this event, too? Nice. A lot of people already had EX, so thank you. So I saw a lot of positivity toward Phantom and Felicia. A little bit of disappointment that Phantom was a freebie dragon, and so his stats are kind of nerfed. But it seems like people are behind it, and I was kind of mixed on it, but I do agree. I like the designs of both Felicia and Phantom. I definitely liked the mythological vibes, I guess, with Thanatos. Phantom is still better than Zodiark, that's true. My thinking with the free dragons is, since we get Moonlight Stones now, they've gone down a lot in value. So when the game first started, I was like all in on my Pele because I didn't think it was very likely that I would get Ifrit to max Unbound. But now that we have Void Battles and we get Moonlight Stones in the treasure trade, I just feel like those free dragons, it's really hard to justify spending all the fruit and leveling them up. With there being some exceptions, like I think you could argue that Pang Lai is kind of an exception. But even if you have Poliahu, that might be a little better for you if you don't have your staff dojos really high. Well, so far so good on this. Maribel tends to be my one unit who struggles. If I let myself get hit, she will probably die. But so far, I haven't really had any issues with getting the Deathless or getting the times clear for this raid. I think they did make it a little more accessible since we recently had an influx of new players. But if you are a new player, I think it's still something to feel accomplished about. Alright. Pretty quick clear. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to catch him on the chat a bit. You mained Ieyasu and bled the boss to death. I have him on my squad. I did recently craft his elemental blade, so he has been a pretty good powerhouse for me. Circus Dagger user, Light Axe Kid, Odetta, and Light Ellie. That is a pretty nice squad. Free dragons now suck due to moonstones. Yeah, I agree. I hate to say it, but I feel like they need a little bit of a shot in the arm, or maybe we just need more access to succulent dragon fruit to actually level them up and have them be useful even as our second or third or fourth dragons on a team. But one nice thing is this event has given us a good chunk of dragon fruit. I've seen people getting 11, 12, 13 dragon fruit from the special battle. So at least they are giving us some dragon fruit. It's just, these dragons are insatiable in this game. It's really hard to level up everyone. You kind of have to pick and choose. At least that's what I've seen so far. You've already maxed out all 4-star dragons in the game. Yeah, I hope they add some new ones. I said that last week. I still definitely hope they do. Stories are too predictable because I've watched so many anime. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Hey, Eris. Well, if you're not able to join now, definitely stop by Discord and we can play together. I don't think I'll grind out all the gold I need right now. And if your concern about joining is just not being able to join the room in time before other people, I will let other people host and try to join their rooms for a change this time. You like this story a lot? Hey, Andres. And you have 26 sands. That's a lot. Leveled up several dragons with the dragon fruit drops. Me too. Saving fruits just in case. Yeah, I'm in the same spot. Hey, good to see you. I recognize that Peppa Pig anywhere. Pretty easy to do. So I can show you guys my dragons. If somebody wants to post a code, I will gladly join an expert room. If there's somebody who really wants to get a match in, otherwise I can post a code too. But I'll show you guys my collection of dragons really quick. I'm debating how to use my Sunlight Stones or Moonlight Stones because if the Halloween banner comes back, I'm probably going to pull on it. And that means I might pick up some Silks. Otherwise, Silk would probably be my choice because she was limited time. But then again, all these other non-limited dragons, I'm likely to just pull them randomly too. So there's a possibility that I just go ahead and do that for Silk and accept the fact I'm going to maybe get some duplicates one day. But yeah, I've definitely improved as far as my dragon collection goes. You'll also notice I don't have any more Diamantium. I really wanted to get Odetta, so I was doing daily deals, probably against my better judgment, on Thunder and Splendor. I decided to do that instead of waiting. Alright, somebody has posted a code. Thank you, Void. So I'm going to join that room. We'll see if you guys are faster at joining this room than I am. Or if I'll be able to get a spot. But no data from me from Daily Deals. I did get some pretty cool pulls. I got another Dragon's Nest. That's a 3-star worm print that provides shapeshift prep. And if you're new to Dragalia Lost, this type of worm print with shapeshift prep has been a staple in these raids, especially for getting timed clears, because it stacks across teams. At least that's what it's done in the past, and it's meant that you can get out dragons really quickly. Even within your own party, it should stack at the very least, and you should be able to get dragons close to the start of a match and destroy some of the limbs of the bosses. I guess I realized I hid the code, so looks like you guys found it anyway, maybe from the chat. But here we go. So besides that Dragon's Nest worm print, I also was able to get Jacob, the new 3-star adventurer. So I'm looking forward to actually trying him out. That's one of the limitations with the way I do reviews, is it's kind of speculative. It's my first impressions in some ways. Do a little bit of research thanks to the helpful folks at the wiki who put up a lot of information, but there are some things that it's hard to know about, like Albert's second skill, for instance. There's a lot of detail in the wiki that isn't in the game, so there's definitely some nuance there. I'm still debating whether I want to keep summoning on this showcase at the very last day and try to break my pity rate, since I did spend about 6 singles through Daily Deals on it, I think. But I'm definitely very much in the Gala camp, that after this we're going to get Gala. I just don't know who we're actually going to get through that. I'd be curious to hear your speculation. One of the question marks for me is, are we going to get alts with Gala, or is it always going to be these side characters like Cerise, who haven't been represented in the game so far? Because what I understand is Grand Blue Fantasy does a similar thing, and they do create alts that way. So if that's the case, I could see us potentially getting Ronzel or Luca. I don't know that they would want to duplicate elements again, so although people are hyped about Mim, if she's Flame, I don't know that they would want to do that after having Cerise be Flame. With how many light banners we've gotten, it's really hard for me to make that type of speculation sincerely, so wow, that was a fast clear. Thanks, everyone. Yes, good job. Oh, I couldn't click the sticker in time. Light Berserker. Who will get Gala? You pulled Gilgamesh, nice. Hey, and we got an EX again. That's pretty lucky. I guess we'll do this EX right away then. Hopefully there's some people to round out the EX squad. You'd wail for Mim. Dark Orsum, Light Berserker. So I don't know that they would dip into, you know, the more obscure gacha characters just yet. But I have invested a lot in my Berserker at this point, so I would be down for a Light Berserker. An alt for Yuden? Yeah, we have to wonder if they're ever going to do that at this rate. So for EX, I'll go ahead and make the room. Who would I like to appear in Gala? I think I would want a character who doesn't have representation yet. So I think it would be cool to see one of Yuden's siblings, or possibly Zethia. I don't really care too much for Zacharias, Ronzel's father. Some people have mentioned him, but I feel like he's just not a popular enough character.
Let's get this show started.
Hey there.
Leaf could be cool, Harl could be cool. Yeah, that Dragon Yule Yuden, I got so many comments or saw so many posts on Reddit about that suit that people really wanted Yuden in that suit. Maybe at the least they could do something like skins, but it kind of undermines the seasonal gachas so much that I don't know that they would ever go that route. if nobody else has an EX, I think I will open up the room. Galaluka. Yeah, I would like to see a Galaluka.
There's more to this costume than meets the eye.
Hey there.
I feel like Luca needs more love. One thing I appreciated about this story was Luca actually gets a couple of good lines in. And both him and Mim had more representation here. I like Luca. I joked about him not being in the game in my story character review. Just for the record, I like him. I just feel like he kind of got forgotten in a lot of events, unfortunately. And he could use a little bit of power creep. Water Axe. Yeah, one thought I had this morning, it's not really well formed or anything, but with Ronzel being from St. Latier, maybe they could make like a water variant of Ronzel. That would be kind of cool. I guess I should pay attention to the match now before I get hit with too many of these purples. It's looking like I'm not going to be able to escape the hourglass. Uh-oh. Wrong way. Oh. Thank you, teammates. Thank you for hitting overdrive. Yeah, this hourglass mechanic hasn't been an issue for me in the past. But if you get hit by those purples, you can take a lot of damage to your clock. I'm not sure how to feel about the mechanic as a whole, just because most matches it's not really relevant. I think a lot of that is owed to the fact that players are just a lot stronger and their light teams are a lot stronger. But in that sense, this does feel like a good choice for an event, because with new players coming in, there's a good mix of people who could use a little bit of extra help and then people who have been playing since day one and have these crazy, 23k might teams and stuff like that. Is Gala the next summoning showcase coming out? I believe it will be. We don't have official word on that, but we do know that they are supposed to come out around every 2 months, and that's about how long it's been since the first Gala. Alright, are we gonna get the time? Yeah, we just made it. Whoops. But you can see the 120. So I'm gonna catch up on the chat again. Yeah, Water Axe to help with Hildegarde, or a Water Staff. I think just a Water Staff, even though Thaniel's fine, but a Water Staff just so more players find them appealing and invest in them, because people are reluctant for whatever reason to invest in Thaniel. So I do think a Water Staff would be helpful. I just don't know if they're ready to open up Hildegarde to more players yet. It seems like we might need to get the next High Dragon trial before that, I'm not sure. We need a 5-star water healer. Yeah, I see a lot of sentiment toward this. In before 5-star water Hilde. Midi Clark, what do you mean by any tips for easy premium apart from the story? Do you mean summoning currency, the Wormite? For the most part, you'll get that just by completing endeavors on quests. You also get it from viewing character stories and dragon stories, and then just through daily and regular endeavors with events. So a lot of it comes down to saving and choosing which banners you summon on. One nice thing about this game is, for the most part, except with one exception last year, banners don't really overlap. It's good and bad. It means that you can't summon if there's a banner you really dislike. You're going to have to wait a while, but it kind of forces you to save. So I think for this one, I will just make a private room and see what happens. This is on phone. I am mirroring, and I think that's why you may be seeing a little bit of lag at times and stuttering in the music, for lack of a better word. So I am going to look into some more mirroring options, but I think for the time being, we'll probably just do this every now and then when new events come out that focus on co-op, like raids.
Hey there.
Nice.
Hey there.
Good to see some familiar faces. Good to see that some of you guys got Albert, too.
Here goes.
Alright, I'll wait for you to ready up. What's my opinion on Platinum Showcase? I'm less high on it than I used to be. So I think that over time there are more good showcases out where there's a decent chance you can get multiple 5 stars. I think it's still good, but when you compare it to something like the daily deal, if you're spending that 1500 diamantium, you're going to get a lot of summons over time with your 30 per day. So I think it's worth it for dragons and adventurers if you're willing to stomach the possibility of dupes. I could also see us getting one sometime soon, because we got the last one of those last year. And if you weren't playing the game at that time, basically that was a paid-only showcase. There were 3 periods. One was to target dragons, one was adventurers, and one was worm prints. And you could only do 1 summon for each of those categories, but that summon guaranteed a 5-star, or possibly multiple, but one was guaranteed, of that category. And you could get other types of 5-stars, so if you went for the guaranteed dragon, you could randomly get some worm prints in there. But basically it was a 10-fold, and it cost just as much as a normal 10-fold summon, so 1500 diamantium. So as much as I want a 5-star water axe from Gala, you guys know that I built up Pietro, so I don't know that I'd be willing to sacrifice everything I've invested and summon on Gala for a 5-star water axe. But I think it's hard enough playing that fight that for most people, especially in pubs where it's much harder to communicate, you don't really want to risk running with a non-burn res character. It puts most pressure on the Thaniel. It's actually not too bad as Pietro. Awesome. Another really quick clear. You guys are strong.
This costume really turned the tide.
I think Platinum Showcase might be back. Another reason people think that we're going to get Gala, though, is the way that the event lines up. So the end of the event is the same day. Nice, another EX already. So the end of the event and the end of the banner are the same day, and when that happened before, we got Gala afterwards, so yeah, Platinum was a paid showcase, so hopefully I described it fairly well. It hasn't happened in a long time. I want to say it was November that it happened. It was around Black Friday. I could be wrong on that, but that's what my memory is. Yeah, thanks for the run as well. So does anyone have EX? I guess we'll see who has it. Hopefully we can form a full room.
There's more to this costume.
In Pugs, you try to tap on which target to focus on, such as right wing, but it's rare people will see the target. I think this time around, because there's 4 body parts, it's a little bit harder for people to focus up. In the past, like with the New Year's raid, everybody wanted to target that gift box, even though it wasn't super consistent with people who weren't familiar with that. Right now, if I'm not targeting the right thing, it's just because I'm a little distracted reading chat and playing, but normally I'll try to listen to what other people are saying and target those parts of the boss. One really cool thing on this, too, is they kind of did this quietly, but you can actually get golden keys and golden fragments from the expert and special boss battles. I think you can only get keys from special, but it's a kind of nice incentive. Now, granted, Worm Prints are still not where they need to be, but hopefully if they give us 2 Worm Print slots or do something along those lines to make Worm Prints more valuable, then those golden fragments and keys start to look a little better. Yeah, the nice thing about this boss, though, is even being distracted, it's not especially punishing. I know things got a little bit close last time, but luckily we had our healer, and probably healers on other teams who were able to help us. One thing I realized right away is I didn't even switch to my proclaimed EX team, so I'm using my expert team, but they're all light adventurers except for Yuden, and you know, hopefully he'll survive. He has gotten significantly weaker since I dismantled his flame sword. Go try help break that. The orbs in this boss fight are really similar to a boss that we got last year, Hypnos. So I think for now, the 2 raid bosses they really haven't doubled up on as far as mechanics are Shishimai, who we got for New Year's, and Fraganoth, who was the first raid boss, who was kind of like a turtle with a tail. How would I balance equipping 2 Worm Prints? I really don't think it needs a lot of special balance. I think the key would just be to make future content harder and scale up the stat requirements. But I think that as far as dual Worm Prints, you're getting maybe 200 HP and 65 strength, so the stats are not really crazy high. It's mostly the abilities. So they could do a thing where they don't allow overlap of abilities. That's one option. They could do some rarity scaling where maybe you can only have 1 5-star Worm Print equipped and the other one has to be a 4-star or a 3-star. I don't think it needs too much because with the new Void weapons, they're already making High Midgard Swarmer, which is kind of endgame content, a lot easier. So I'm not particularly worried about it right now. And when do I think we'll get the next story chapter? I think that we'll probably get it at the end of March. That's maybe a little bit optimistic, maybe beginning of April, but the first time around, the game launched September 27th, I want to say. And December 27th or so was when we got our first story update for Chapter 7. So it took 3 months, and it's going to be about 3 months at the end of March. So hopefully we'll get one then. I see that someone posted a code. So I'm going to enter that room. What's up, Francisco?
Hey there.
Yeah, the Insignia trade really helped me out. But the dual Worm Prints would be even more helpful.
Hey there. Hey there.
No duplicates of rarity for Worm Prints? I think that could work. The dragon from the Void Storage, does it stack with the EXP Worm Print? I believe it does, because the EXP Worm Print is for player EXP, and that dragon is for adventurer EXP. So I believe it does. A What's Ahead would be nice to see soon. I would even love it if they went a little further and actually did things like directs or Fade Channel type things for this game. It's kind of surprising. I think that Dragalia just getting this wider release, low-key, without a lot of fanfare, really surprised me. You don't see this a lot in directs or anything like that. But I think that Dragalia is going to be kind of a sleeper. Like, looking at Grand Blue Fantasy and its longevity for 5 years, with the anniversary coming up, that's not even a game I've invested heavily in, but That's pretty incredible. I mean, there's some force behind it to have it survive that long. So I think that Dragalia will continue to get supported. I just feel like because it's a mobile game, for a lot of the main Nintendo audience, it's kind of not on their radar. I definitely came into Dragalia as primarily a Nintendo fan and not being too familiar with side games. So I still listen to a lot of Nintendo podcasts and that type of thing, and Dragalia often just gets, it's a gacha game and gets the rap associated with that. But I think the quality is there, you know, and you really don't have to rely too heavily on the gacha to clear most of the content. I kind of feel that as far as Nintendo goes, too, this is a little bit off topic, but I know a lot of you guys are probably Nintendo fans, but it almost feels to me like a lot of what people wanted when the Switch was announced was, hey, we're going to move a lot of our 3DS development over to the Switch. It's going to be unified. We're going to get a lot more consistent releases, and I think to some extent we have gotten that. But I want to say, especially with Nintendo's new president, mobile is such a huge part of what they want to do that it's almost like mobile is fitting in that space where the 3DS used to be. At least for me, Dragalia is of that quality, where I feel like it's that enjoyable. Alright, I'm going to catch up on the chat a minute.
This costume really turned the tide.
I'm also sad about Phantom not being that strong. I kind of feel mixed about the relationship between Phantom and Felicia. I do get a little bit of Sonic 06 vibes from that. And I also kind of just want Phantom to express his feelings. Like, you know, it's a little bit weird. He's being a little bit too hovering for me. I just want him to express his feelings to Felicia. But it's okay. Thanatos seems way worse, but yeah, I hope that it comes to a good resolution in the epilogue. That's for sure. I was also playing a lot of Fire Emblem Heroes before, and kind of sadly I've dropped off of that. I'm a big Fire Emblem fan, and Ether Raids actually looks very appealing to me. I was keeping up with Arena before, but I think I just got overwhelmed, and as I started to spend less money on that game, I found it a lot harder to keep up, and characters would come out. I wasn't as good as saving. I almost felt like I had gone to a point of no return with my account, where if I were to get back into Fire Emblem Heroes, I would rather just make a new account, I think, and see what that experience would be like from scratch. But it's also somewhat intimidating for new players with the amount of new materials that are in the game now. Hopefully Dragalia is able to do a good balance of not getting to that point, but there are a lot of mechanics, materials, there's a lot in the game, so I could see it already sort of going in the direction.
Hey there. For
Let's
real?
sing together. Sorry,
Hey there.
worry not.
Haven't gotten a Switch yet, but Sword and Shield might convince me, including Three Houses. I agree, Ama. I'm gonna play both of those.
Sing together. Let's get this.
Yeah, if you start over, you would hit stamina droughts. That's a concern. My main concern is just lack of time, honestly, because I spent so much time clearing like the special quests and hero battles. I haven't done the abyssals. There's a lot of content in that game that I haven't touched, so I can't imagine trying to catch up on all of that. Okay, so just started playing DL because it looked interesting. That's a good sign that it was able to appeal to somebody. Has that kind of wide appeal and at least caught your eye. Which starter? That is a good question. I honestly haven't decided yet, guys. I'm not crazy about Score Bunny. Scorbunny is probably not in contention for me. It depends on the final evolutions a lot for me. But Grookey and Sobble, I'm down with. Historically, I've tended toward grass. I did pick Chimchar kind of randomly. Otherwise, I think that I've generally gone for the grass starters. And then I'll usually do a different starter on a second playthrough. See you later, Knight. Of course, seeing a lot of Sobble love. Yeah, Sobble's really cute. I still hope that one day we get some crossover with Nintendo IP the way we're getting with Cygames IP. But I feel like it's not very realistic. I think those characters wouldn't fit into this world as much. But you know, Charizard as a dragon would be pretty good. I know the Pokemon Company is even less likely, though, to share their IP. Yeah, Sobble does kind of look like Mudkip or Swampert. There's some similarities there. And for Eldwater, this is a nice event. I think around 50k Eldwater now, which I went down to absolute zero when I upgraded all the co-ability nodes on my Pietro. So it's nice to actually have a good supply.
Okay.
This costume really turned the tide.
It's more likely to see Bowser as a dragon than any Pokemon. I feel like it's more likely to see Bowsette with how many waifu dragons are in this game. For better or for worse. But she's semi-canon. I guess Nintendo revealed she's semi-canon, so I don't really know if she can legitimately appear in the game. What do I think the best team comp for clearing High Mercury, High Jupiter, and High Zodiac would be? It's really hard to say, because we don't know what the mechanics are like at this point. I'll uninstall if they add Bowsette. I would probably skip that banner as well. Would I recommend upgrading the co-abilities on your 5 stars over promoting a 4-star? Generally speaking, I would only recommend upgrading co-abilities for adventures you plan to take into a High Dragon trial. Right now, those are kind of the hardest content in the game. And really, at this point, High Brunhilde is a step above High Midgard Swarmer. So I can show you my barracks really quick, and then we'll get into, I have an EX waiting that we'll get into. But that is a good question, and maybe we'll look at the barracks and speculate about those teams, because I think that's also a good question about other High Dragon trials. So these are the adventures I have. Almost everybody is at 30 nodes now, or above. I am still waiting. There's some 4 stars down here who haven't quite gotten to that point. But luckily we have gotten that ton of mana like you guys mentioned before. So generally speaking, if you're new to the game in particular, you want to get all your adventurers to 21 mana nodes at some point, with that 21st mana node specifically being the node that unlocks a character story, because by reading those character stories you get Wormite, you also get some titles that are just for fun, and you get some more exposition. Of course, you get to enjoy the story itself. So 21 is kind of the minimum you want to be at. 30 is the maximum you can get a 3-star character to. 31 is a point that I like for 4 stars because you can use that to unlock their ailment resistance or affliction resistance. So, for instance, with 31 nodes, this Climb-In has 100% blindness res. This Sazanka has 100% paralysis res. So that's kind of where I like to put my 4 stars at, unless I really push them further or really like them. Some of these I will eventually upgrade to 40 nodes, which is the max you can have a 4-star at, like my Cleo. or not my Melsa. I'm just accidentally clicking on them. And then the only two characters I've gotten to 50 are the ones I actually use in High Dragon Trial. So I have Mikoto, and I have my Pietro. And I can use my other characters, like I can use Verica, Lily. All of these characters have the potential to clear for me. I actually haven't gotten a clear with Lily yet. But as far as future High Dragon Trials, I think that you want to first just look at the 100% res. Which characters have that? That is most likely going to be the starting point, especially if you're playing in public lobbies. I also need rupees, but I'm not drowning in mana. I'm down to 345,000 rupees. Yeah, so which dragon do I use for Hybernhilda? I use Dragalia Jeanne d'Arc. And thanks to this event, I was actually able to max unbind her, which is awesome. Alright, I see someone has posted a code, so I'm going to join your EX room. Someone is already in here. Hopefully there will actually be a spot for me.
I'll fight at your side. Hey there.
Yeah, so as far as 4 stars that are worth promoting from a strategic standpoint, the two that really stand out right now are Thaniel and Verica. I would say that both of those have an immediate application as far as high dragons go. But to some extent, it does depend on what dragons you have access to. You're going to need at least your first copy of Phoenix to invest in that Verica. And for Thaniel, you're going to need a Poliahu or a Penglai, or preferably you're going to want Poseidon, which is a 5-star gacha dragon. What about OG Ellie? OG Ellie is good, but I think that in the end game, it's going to be hard to play with her in public lobbies because Hybernhilda's burn is really strong. It takes you down to 1 HP with every tick of burn that you take. So while Ellie is used in a lot of the speed clears and the fastest runs, for the most part, those are organized on Discord. So it's going to be harder to bring her into public lobbies, basically. You're looking for people to run the last Hybernhilda? We've had a lot of runs going on Discord. We've had a lot of meme runs. Recently there was a Sabella, Karina, and someone else. Clear. There's another meme character in there, I'm pretty sure. Now that my Pietro has a max unbound Jeanne d'Arc. Oh, that was bad. I thought I had my shapeshift prep ready. Sabella, Karina, Ellie, Thaniel. Yeah, Ellie is great there. Getting that damage, and then Sabella with the shield. Is Dragalia Nefaria viable? She is viable, but you're going to want Poseidon for her, for the most part. I am not sure if any other dragons would really work for her. At least not without really high investment into your dojos. Alright, I'll try make sure we don't die here. Look back to the game screen a little bit. I'm slowly crafting a 5-star elemental lance for Elisan, Halloween Elisan rather, but the constraint right now is the rupees for me. Thaniel and Orsum love the skill haste. That I would agree with. So if you do build Dragalia Nefaria, I think the fact that she has 100% burn res, you know, you're going to be good for public comps, pubs. Most people are going to accept you. I think people may prefer Lily because of her skill damage, but that skill haste actually is kind of nice. I see your ARG. Were you going for the timed clear, man?
Costume really turned the tide.
If you are, hopefully we can rerun it, and I'll switch to my damage dealing team for EX. Thankfully, it's not too bad. If you continue to run pubs, it's pretty easy to pick it up this time around. Alright, we're getting a lot of grinding in. We started below 3,000 golds, and we're already above 3,500. For HMS, you absolutely need the most upgraded 500 Imperial Insignia one. No, for Valentine's Hildegarde, you can run the 4-star Elemental Staff, the Arc Voyager. And that tends to be the preferred option, actually. The question is going to be whether your HP is high enough to survive, but if you have Phoenix and slowly start max unbinding it with those monthly Moonlight Stones, you should be in good shape with that 4-star staff. Alright, does anybody want to get into an expert room that wants to post a code? I don't have EX right now. Oh, referring to the print. My bad. You probably want to go all the way for the print. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking 500 for a weapon, because that's not associated with a weapon anyway. I think you want the print. Max Unbound. The exceptions to that would be if you're running a damage dealer with Prometheus, maybe? But I think as far as signaling and like public lobbies and stuff, it is good to have the print. Like, it's good to just put your best foot forward if you're able to do so. I have not invested into those non-Max Unbound prints, but the fact that they're there, I think, does kind of confuse some newer players. I think they're almost there more if you want to solo the content. So Nan is saying Verica can survive without print if there's an 11% Nessa and Max Unbound Phoenix. So there you go. I guess if that's true of Verica, that should be true of Hildegarde too, because she has more HP. Yeah, it might be enough. Hildegarde, from what I've experienced, is kind of tight with her healing rotation, so as a ranged character, you might have to be a little careful. Whoops. I was going to create a room. I'll just go ahead and make another expert room. I am running a little bit low on wings, but we can spin some ashes. And I'll probably be around for another 20 minutes or so. Just hang out and play the raid. Is there anything else you guys want to play? Void Manticore's here today, or if you're newer to the game, there's also IOs if you want to get into those or need help with those, or Dragon Trials. Just let me know, and we could try that out too.
Yes. Victory will be ours.
Healing through Tattered and Stack. Yeah, even so, my Verica's not promoted. I have gotten a number of clears with her on HMS, but even for her, just because she's a 4-star, everything else is built out about her. The dojos are built, the Phoenix is max unbound, the 4-star elementals max unbound, but I still find that healing section kind of tight. If you have good uptime, it's not an issue. If you have Cerise for skill haste, that also helps a lot. Oh, you need to grind silver and bronze. We could do some of that. I think probably on my way to 5,000, I'll get enough silvers, but I'm not sure. Trying to check out your comment while playing Adamtron. I guess I'll get out of this red AoE first. Really getting sick of doing Imperial Onslaught every day? my advice is just to do at least the 3 to get your daily bonus. I don't know that you need to do more than that because as of now, the endgame content's really not going anywhere. So it's okay to wait on. But eventually for your dojos, those IOs are going to be your bread and butter just because you need a lot of insignias to level up your dojos. Minimum of 1,000 gold per day? That seems really high for a minimum. Because you usually get, outside of your daily bonuses, you usually get like 1 or 2 of the large gold insignias per match. Unless I misunderstand. Oh, of course, gold for the raid, right? Yeah, I want to pace myself with this one too. It's a longer event. Obviously we're going to get into some good grinding today, but then I think from here I'll just limit it to the dailies for the most part and start picking up void battles because I haven't cleared out the monthly trade for that yet. Alright. Thanatos down. You won't get enough silvers from 5k gold? That's good to know. Only about 600 silvers. Maybe I'll go to 5k gold and then I'll do silvers for dailies. But, oh, we got another EX. We have been really consistent with proccing these. I don't know what they set the appearance rate to this time around, but it must be pretty high. Grinding Master gives like 4 to 6 royal insignias, which can be traded for 12 to 18 regulars. Is it that high? Why do I think it's lower than that? I know for the dailies it's pretty high. Also, hey Eric, good morning to you from Texas. How's it going in the Marshall Islands? It's 3 silver for each royal insignia, right? I'll show you guys my insignia collection really quick. Yeah, you only get 1 to 2, like 1.5 on average, right? Okay, yeah, dailies you get more. So this is my stockpile right now. Flame or red insignias, we're doing really well. Water, we have enough to have the big insignias for a high mercury print. Wind, we have enough to craft a 5-star elemental for high mercury. Light, we have enough to craft a 5-star elemental or to go toward a print for high zodiac or high Jupiter respectively. And then shadow is what I'm using my dailies on because I just crafted Ieyasu's blade, so I want to get this back up to 200 eventually. But yeah, I think flame, we're in good shape, thankfully. And I'm using that to level up my bow dojos for Eleanor right now. So I'm going to join the EX raid that was posted. Keep pressing these emblems when I mean to press join co-op. And then maybe we can do some silver grinding after this. Yeah, with the changes that were made, where the insignias are in the treasure trade now, it's definitely worth it to grind on master difficulty. And as far as what dojos are, when you beat chapter 6 of the story, there is a mode that you'll unlock called Imperial Onslaught. There are special unlockables from that, including dojos, which are facilities that provide a bonus to the stats of various weapons. So your sword dojo is going to boost the HP and strength of all of your sword adventurers. Same thing for your lance dojo, etc. And the first time that you're playing through, you'll be able to unlock these at level 1, and then the materials you get from that mode, you'd spend to basically level those up. And they could be leveled up to 30 each. And for every weapon type, there are 2 of them. So it is a pretty big power boost to your team. It's definitely one of the later game things. Like, you're going to be leveling them up for a while. I doubt that many people have max leveled all their dojos. Pretty crazy amount of grinding you'd have to do eventually to do that. But even if you're able to get them to like level 16, that's kind of the standard a lot of players have for end game type of content. If you're able to get your dojos to that point and your altars are maxed out, you should be in pretty good shape. Whoops. I was definitely looking at chat when that happened. Kind of forgot about that. Oh no. Oh, that was lucky. I need to destroy that hourglass with how low I am. But unfortunately, I targeted the hand there. Yes. See, you guys have it under control. I'm pretty sure y'all could take this on without me here. The Cupids are really nice for that healing on raids, too. It's not quite as much as Phoenix, but considering it's on element and you get such a big strength boost, it's a good context where you get to see the sheer power of Cupid, I feel. Does this event have an ending cutscene? Thank you for the carry, guys. Ending cutscene, usually it will have one. After the event ends, there will be a little epilogue, but not after Expert Clash, I think. It's usually after the last day of the event. Nice, we got 1 succulent dragon fruit. Yeah, hopefully that helps you, boy. It is kind of confusing. The game doesn't really explain it, but it's why I would suggest, if you're new to the game, try to clear Chapter 6 if you can, because you do get daily bonuses for that mode. So I'll show you really quickly just the mode without any real spoilers of what's in it or anything like that. It's under events, and it's right here. And you get these 3 daily bonuses. So it is one of those things that the sooner that you can unlock it and are able to start doing it daily, you're going to slowly accumulate those materials, and it can be pretty helpful. Chapter 7 is less of a priority because that unlocks a mode where the rewards are on a monthly basis. So if you're able to do that in your first month, you should be in really good shape as well. Yeah, Dragon Tree Max is at level 27 for some reason. And I'm also glad they changed it, so now while your facilities are upgrading, you can actually collect rewards from them, which is nice. Yeah, leveling to 20 does take a while. Also, nice tip, Noria. That all looks right to me, as far as which weapons go with which IOs. Yeah, that initial nuke is no joke. We got pretty lucky there to escape that. Alright. I think I'm going to do a standard raid this time, because I saw some interest in that before. So I think for now, I'm just going to make a standard room. Alright, Neil, it was nice playing with you. Have a good time in class. I upgraded mine before they did that change too, but in the end, it's, you know, the long-term resource gain we've gotten to enjoy over time. It kind of balances out.
Best to be of service to everyone. Hey there.
Show off my collection? I can do that after this if you want.
Ron ready for good hunt.
Yeah. Hey, everyone.
Hey there.
All right,
Hey there.
let's start it up.
Hey there.
So I also prioritize the mines and the dragon trees, and I think now if you're a new player, go all in on those to the extent you can, because you're not really losing out. You can still collect the resources while they're leveling up, and the sooner you level those up to their maximum, the more rewards you're going to slowly accrue over time. The more your rupee flow is going to be set for you, and the dragon fruit you can never get enough of to some extent, so that should probably be your priority as a new player. Yeah, the dragon tree also, it takes like 3 days for a lot of the higher level ups on it. So the sooner you get started on that, the faster you'll get it done. And it's also not generally worth it to spin Wormite to actually expedite that, because Wormite's a finite resource in this game. Yeah, I would love more fruit. If we actually got compensated for our lost production hours, that would be pretty crazy. I'm really curious as well, you know, what are your situations like with you guys smith worms? I can show you my facilities after this, my Halidom, just for a little break and to take a peek at that, but wow. This was not a battle at all. Took him down really quick.
Hey there. Hey there.
Yeah, so I think 4 is probably good if you're brand new to the game. 3 might also be good. That was a fast clear, but remember that was standard difficulty, so that's the reason why it wasn't too bad for us. Nice, get some Eldwater and some mana. So I kind of feel that if you're a newer player today, because the game just released in all these regions, if you want to catch up to some extent, it is good to get those smithworms. And the quality of life changes that they've made to smithworms and the Halidom, to where the rewards are better than they were at launch. You can now passively collect those production resources. I think that it is a pretty safe investment when spending your Wormite on the gacha. After a certain point, there are diminishing returns. So I still have my 4 smithworms. For the first 2 months of the game, I only had 2 smithworms, and that was fine for me. I was able to keep up with all the content I wanted to do. But this is my Halidom right now. This bottom region isn't really as organized as I would like it to be. Everything's just kind of scattered there. Yeah, dojos, pretty good level on most of them. The lances are kind of low. All the altars are at level 30. All these mines are at level 30. This is at level 27. And these dojos are slowly being leveled up, as well as my magma slime statue. After getting to every dojo to 16, you hit a wall. Only have 1 upgrading the slime statue and the other on a dojo, but 3 are all collecting dust. I almost hit that point where my smithworms were not going to have anything to work on. But luckily, because I have all those flame insignias from dismantling my flame elemental sword, which was max unbound, now I'm able to upgrade all my bow dojos and potentially sword dojos, but I'd rather get my bows to 30 than, say, get both to 25. You forgot about the dragon tree? Oh man, now is your chance. And thank you for trying to do that, Francisco. I really don't know what the setup is for that, but I can look into it. I really appreciate that you're interested in it, but you know, pay it forward, put it to something good. I don't need it, but I do appreciate it. So if it's something you want to do in the future, I will look into that. Yeah, 900 facility level. Do you get full resources back from breaking your weapon? You do. So you have to pay, I had to pay 4.5 million rupees, and that's why I'm broke now. But that's how I was able to get all these insignias. And also, I should have a good amount of sword tablets, and I have all these twinkling sands, good amount of crimson cores. But it did cost like 5 million rupees almost. And you have to dismantle every subsequent stage. It's kind of hard to explain why you would want to do that, but basically it's so you get more sands, which you can craft other types of weapons with, and you get those insignias without having to grind up. But if you guys want to see the collection, I can show you. Otherwise, we can do a few more raids. Any good recommends for good 4 stars to promote? Pretty much any 4-star is going to be solid, especially if they're from the gacha. Right now, I think the only real purpose to promote is for high dragons. That's where you would need a promoted 4-star. And so to that end, I would say Vanessa is a good choice, Varric is a good choice, Thaniel is a good choice, Orsum is a good choice. Basically because those are the ones that, by upgrading them, you're actually able to clear some new types of content. And by promoting them. Otherwise, they're going to be solid as a 4-star, usually. Yeah, Vanessa's awesome. Mine is pretty much maxed out for a 4-star, but I haven't promoted her just because I have my Mikoto, and I use him most of the time. So this is my collection, I guess. One thing I'm pretty excited about is most of these characters are at their max level. So I've actually gotten so many crystals now from the double bonus on Avenue to Power that I'm actually going to be able to max out my barracks, I think, in the next couple weeks. You can see at the bottom, these are the characters I'm still working on leveling up. But I think everybody's leveled up otherwise. And it's kind of the same characters I'm working on getting to 30 mana nodes. My promotions were more for personal reasons, I guess. So I promoted Eleonora, and that was just because she was my first summon in the game, and she's my favorite character. You can probably tell that by the channel artwork and stuff. But Eleonora, hate to say it, but she needs a little power boost. Her skills are good, but this ability is not really useful for anything right now. This is a pretty bad ability, so I think if they were to upgrade that, she would be in a better position. But unfortunately, later on, I summoned Luis, and Luis kind of power crept Eleonora as well. Her stats and her abilities are just generally a little better. You haven't been playing Avenue to Power aside from dailies? Well, I just do my 2 dailies for the most part. I haven't really spammed that mode or anything, but some people do just do 1 daily just for the endeavor. I usually collect both the daily bonuses, the little treasure chests. The weapons collection is kind of the hardest to organize, but these are my 5-star elementals right now. And I also have some 4 stars like Arc Voyager. And this is Lily's staff. And this is just because I made this for Eleonora. This is used for Void battles, Void Manticore. All of these 3-star light weapons were from a challenge battle we had a couple months ago, or I guess a month ago at this point, where we had to fight Manticore and it was really hard. And I wanted to see if I could do it with just all 3-star weapons and dragons and adventurers. So that's why I ended up crafting a lot of these. All of these need to be dismantled too, but they cost 750k. And yeah, here are my worm prints. I don't really know if there's a better way to organize these. Maybe by might? So I have my 2 high dragon prints, some good 4-star worm prints that I've maxed on bounds, and then basically the freebie prints that you get from facility events. Usually I level those up to 100. To mirror my screen, I am just using the Smart Share or Share Screen on my Galaxy Note or Note 9, and I'm using the Connect app, so I think it's Miracast on Windows 10. So I know it's kind of laggy. How is it feeling for you guys? Was the gameplay pretty laggy today? I do want to try to find another solution eventually, if we're going to keep streaming like this every now and then. Yeah, I guess this is sorted okay. It's fine for you? That's good. Well, that's good to hear. Dragons have really rounded out pretty nicely with some of my recent summons. So I guess I'll do by element. For Shadow, I have this Nidhogg, Juggernaut, they're my two stronger ones. And then Silk is also max and bound, but she's not leveled up. And Light, it's still my weakest. My attacker usually gets Lindworm, and then I'll put Silk on somebody else. And I can service two healers with Unicorn and Jean pretty well. Hopefully they do add more Void Weapons. Also, hey Levi. Glad you're able to make it too. We're just kind of chilling out now. People wanted to see the collection, so thought I'd show it off a little bit. Yeah, I think that's got to be their intention, to add more Void Weapons. They're certainly going to add more bosses, and so there should be a nice new set of weapons to go along with each of those. I have all these Phoenixes. Just reluctant to sell for some reason. Phoenix is just that good. I kind of feel like having a collection of her might come in handy one day for something. But let's go ahead and get back into a little bit of gameplay. I think what I'll do is spend one of these Blessed Ashes, and we'll just ride it out with the last few games, spend all these wings, and then call it a day. So I'll do one expert, and then we can do some standard or even beginner. If there's any requests for beginner, we can do that too.
There's more to this costume than meets the eye.
I'll fight at your side. Hey there.
Nice. Good to see everyone. Nice to see you guys rocking some epithets too. Death Denier and Conqueror of Winds representing.
Hey there.
Do you guys usually gravitate toward epithets that you unlock through hard content? Do you go for ones that just appeal to you personally? Like, what's your plan with epithets? It fills up fast. Well, next time, if you want to create a room, I can join your room. How about that? That way you can get in a game too. Because I agree, it's hard for... That's one thing that's kind of hard to control. Yeah, full fire healer team with that Phoenix. I mean, it could happen. I didn't get Hildegarde though. Sorry, I meant to throw you a nice and not an okay. The most badass title or the most meme title? Fair enough. Anything to add credibility for hard content. Yeah, that's the one functional use they really have, is as that signal to other players to say, hey, I was able to beat this, so please give me a chance. Wholesome ones? There are some really good wholesome ones. The most cool boy points, so Conqueror Flame for you. Usually I'll keep one equipped if we get it together as a group. So I still have my Zephyr Zapper equipped from stream, and for a long time I had Volcanic Fiendslayer equipped, and that was because that was the first epithet I really got with my Discord. Yeah, another EX. Our stream will never end if we keep getting these EXs. I think what I'm going to do, actually, though, is join Adam, since they expressed wanting to join and weren't able to get in. So we're going to, I guess, lose value a little bit. It all kind of works out with the grind in the end. But we're not going to spend the EX yet. We're going to do this room first. Thank you for hosting.
I'll fight at your side. Hey there.
Faithful Vassal, Born Ruler, and Dragalia Saint.
Hey there.
I like those. Also, hey there. I may look at that, Jordan. That might be an option for me. I tried originally using like the YouTube gaming app to stream from my phone, but it's a little cumbersome, the overlays on top of the game itself. There's like a button to turn on your selfie cam. There's like all these things on there that I don't want to be accidentally hitting in the middle of a match. So I haven't actually tried the Streamlabs app too thoroughly. But maybe for our next stream I would do something like that. I may bring back Conquer of Flame at some point. Sorry for the choppy audio there, but I was finally able to get a deathless clear in Hildegarde, and that was pretty satisfying. So on those grounds, I might bring back Conquer of Flame. With the app, you're able to mirror your screen well but didn't capture in-game audio. That tends to be an issue with Android, I've noticed. Almost makes me consider iOS at this point because they're really particular about letting you record internal audio. For Samsung, there's this app Mobizen, and that's what I've been using to record for any pre-recorded stuff. That's pretty good for the most part. Alright. Gonna join the Cool Boy Club again? Yeah, I mean, the Conquer Flame, I think the little pink color, the embellishment on those epithets, it's got a little bit more style than most of the other ones, but it's really not that hard to get once you get your setup. Once you get your character set up and do some practice in Hildegarde. That initial investment's kind of large, but afterward, that was nice. I agree. The one epithet I haven't gotten yet, though, is still that Manticore Mauler. And gotta run. We'll see you later. Glad to join Adam. I'm gonna make the EX room now, since I am running a little low on time. But that Manticore Mauler, I've gotten within 1 second now. And I've gotten a couple other attempts where I'm like 2 or 3 seconds off. But that one is still tough for me. And yeah, it is proof you made it to the end game. That's true. Hybrid Hills in particular, you can't really do a 3-person carry of. You need people to at least survive to a certain point.
Hey there. Hey there.
So the USB cable thing's kind of interesting. Someone suggested to me there's a way using USB debugging to mirror, and that might be a little bit smoother. You got Manticore Mauler on the dot. That's probably what will happen if I'm able to get it. It is the Void one. The no breaking thing is an intended mechanic, that Fury mechanic. Yeah, you still need to live. That's my thing, is like, with Hybrid Hilda, those extra volcanoes seem important enough that I think if you die at the beginning, you can't really clear easily. Yeah, exactly. Exactly what Romano said is what I was thinking. Alright. It seems like not enough people have EX, so I'm going to open this stall. And let's see who comes in.
Hard before me. Hey there. Hey there.
Yeah, the Manticore, I feel like they really pushed it to a point where you have to have a very specific team. But last stream, Deltran stopped by and he was mentioning he got it in, I think, public lobbies or on his first try, which was awesome. There needs to be a Wings chat feature? What do you mean by Wings chat feature? On the other hand, with Manticore Mauler, I have had some success soloing it. So that part is not bad. It's just that that time limit is particularly short for the epithet. So you get extra loot from the bosses? Are you saying through a chat feature? You'd get extra loot? I don't really mind the lack of chat, but I do think more stickers would make a difference. Both just from a meme and fun perspective, but also there are some things that it's hard to communicate right now, like grouping up. Oh. You're saying to target the wings? If you click wing, I'll see if I can do it in a minute. Oh, it's not working actually. I'm not sure if I'm not pressing it right or if that's intentional. But normally when you click the body part of the boss, it will pull up. So maybe that's what you're mentioning. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, sorry Makoto died, but we did get the epithet time.
This costume really turned the tide.
Photo finish wing break. The wings are the things that give the rare drop, huh? I need to go read that actually. So you should always destroy them? Well, I'm glad I learned that from you guys. I know they do vary at every boss.
Beat Thanatos and return to the light of day.
Let's see. So here they mention the timer. Raid battles. I probably skipped it. But I definitely believe you. I know I saw this at one point. I thought it was for all parts though. I didn't realize. Yeah, breaking everything it's generally good. Oh, every time you destroy a wing, you see a rare drop. I want to say I read it. I don't know though. I don't remember now actually. Okay, so let's do some standards to ride out the rest of the stream. I'm just going to make the rooms, and I got to get going pretty soon, so... So Cygames didn't say it? They drop these little details in the notices board. It's really well worth our time to read them carefully. Although I don't always retain all of that, like in this case. But that's where they'll mention things like whether a showcase is limited or not. So I see people ask questions about that, and that notices board has a lot of info. A lot of good info in there.
Hey there.
Anyone else up for standard? If not, I can make the room public.
Hey there. Hey there.
Victory will be ours.
Nice.
Hey there. I'll fight at your side.
Yes.
Ooh, a full Forbidden Relic team. That is a worm print I really wanted to make work. It has Gauge Inhibitor, and you only really see that on Rex and Thaniel for Adventurers, and I think that's the only worm print it's on too. But I have not tried it. I don't have a high enough level one, or I guess I actually have one. I have one, so in co-op that could work to test, but I don't know if stacking it enough would really delay the overdrive to the point that it was worthwhile versus just doing a normal clear. I have tried Overdrive Punisher in that fight though. I do like that quite a bit. I wonder if it would help with timed clears though. I'm honestly not sure if being an overdrive affects a boss's defense or just the amount of damage output they deal. So for something like that, I don't know if it would necessarily help. I have used Shapeshift Prep for that timed clear plan,
Really turn the tide.
but for a normal clear, maybe? In co-op it should work with all four. I guess we could try it. It's something that's worth trying. I would probably be willing to try something like that in the Discord if you guys are interested later on. It's usually a 1.2 modifier to their defense. Okay. That's good to know. There's a lot of little mechanics in the game like that that, while expressed to some extent, you don't get a lot of detail on.
There's more to this costume than meets the eye.
It's still overdrive pretty quickly. Yeah, that's sort of what I wonder is, would it really be a significant difference? But
Here I go.
that sounds good, Void. I'll be on the Discord this evening. We have a plan. I'm going to try get the epithet if I can for the Manticore tonight, or at least work on it a little bit after my wings recharge.
Hey there. Hey there.
Nice to see everybody. Gauge Inhibitor remains one of those mechanics that I really want to make work, but I don't think has found the right context yet. Manticore might be the closest thing we've gotten to a context where it would really matter when the boss enters overdrive, so I think it and those full HP equals status condition abilities are some of the worst in the game right now, unfortunately. There are some abilities that could definitely use a power creep or a little buff. Not a power creep. I don't want to see a new ability that just makes those old worm prints and characters invalid. I would want to see a buff. That's what I mean. They actually buffed a couple of characters.
I know you guys can do it. Go get 'em.
They buffed Naveed. They made his 2 skills cheaper in terms of the SP cost, so you can charge those up faster. They also buffed Nefaria and Hawk, and basically made it so... Wow, I was still just attacking the hand. I'm getting a little bit of lag in the game itself, not just in the mirroring, so... Just gonna do a couple more matches and we'll be done, but... They buffed Hawk and Nefaria too, which was cool. Alright, thank you for stopping by, Void. Have a good time at work. I need to get back to work here in a few minutes. So this will be the last match for today. And I think this will probably be the last stream this week. Kind of a quiet week for Dragalia with this event going on for a while. If we get any news of the gala appearing or a What's Ahead Part 3 perhaps, then I'll just make a uploaded video on that and get to discuss that with you guys. But thank you everyone who stopped by and joined in. I'm glad I've gotten to play with a greater variety of players today. I know doing this at the same time means it's a lot of the same faces that show up, but I'm glad to see some new people who are new to the game too. So maybe we can make this a tradition where for new raids, we'll get to do some co-op like this. In the past, I had mentioned that raids would be a good time to do team reviews, because in a raid you can actually see everyone's team. But I did do a video like that about the light element, and we've gotten a lot of light characters since then, but I don't know that that would really add much to that video, so that's why I didn't do it for this raid, but maybe in the future. We're still waiting on Flame and Shadow for those squad showcase videos. Maybe that would be a good time to bring it back for a stream. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Alright, this time I think I'm just gonna go for the body of the boss and see how fast we can take it out. It's looking like a pretty fast clear. Thank you guys.
Victory will be ours.
Nice.
This costume really turned the tide.
Alright everyone, once again appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for supporting the channel. Hopefully we get some more pre-recorded content this week too. I do want to get back into adventure spotlights. I have put those down for quite a while now, and with all the mana we've gotten recently, I do have the resources to actually do that. Besides that, I do want to make a video about summoning and strategies behind summoning, how to do it wisely, since with the game getting a wider release, I see that as a big question mark for a lot of players, and besides the banner reviews, there are just some good principles to keep in mind, so I want to try to condense that into a shorter video and put that out there. But once again, thank you everyone who stopped by. Take care, and I'll see you next time.